Hello everyone, welcome to Byte by eCommerce. Here we share some of the most interesting and insightful stories from the world of AI. Basically, the content that can help e-commerce growth leaders make smarter and faster e-commerce decisions. I am Divyesh Wani, senior copywriter at Powerweave. Today we are hosting Arun Prasath, CEO at Focuz AI. He is a passionate individual, passionate about helping businesses transform from industry from 3.0 version to 4.0 version. Obviously, with the help of digital techs like AR, VR, IoT, and mixed reality. Today, we will be also joined by Deepak Gawas, the head of marketing at Powerweave.
Thanks, Divyesh, and thanks, Arun, for joining us. So, like he said, 3.0 to 4.0, there's a lot which, we are just throwing those jargons because we expect you to help us out with all those things. So, let's start with what triggered you to start Focuz. Where did this whole thing, came? What inspired you essentially to start Focuz AI?
Great. So first of all, I'd like to thank Deepak and Divyesh for inviting me, Deepak, and hope so we are just going to add some great value to the listeners. And coming to the overall inspiration for Focuz, so I give a brief about myself and my background. So I'm in the industry for more than 15 years and hardcore into IT. So after completing my college, straight away I just started the business in the year 2006. So where my first company is Caravan Tech Solution, which is more into IT services. But even in the initial days, I was dreaming about products. So I used to come up with a lot of other small ideas. Even in 2007, I just registered the domain called letspay.com to transform the payment gateway at the time. So since there is no payment gateway which is seamless in India, I thought of coming up with the payment gateway. Literally, so due to some inexperience, I didn't start at the overall the product development during 2007. So since I'm just keep on dreaming about the product in the year 2015, I think my co-founder Shankar, so we both are college mates. So we went during the casual meet. So he was just showing about one of the video. So the video is about the Google Translate. So I just completely blown by seeing the video. So once you focus on any of the text, it will translate the particular language to other language. Right. So I literally blown away with a lot of other. It's all about AI. So where it's not only AI, it's a deep learning AI where instantaneously where we can translate whatever the text which you see in the real world into whatever language you like to see.
Okay. So
just completely blown away, and I just decided that I should involve in coming up with the XR based product. So in 2016, myself and Shankar, we just started developing our own AI engine. So we are the one in Asia with our own AI engine during that time. So even at the time, we are just using Euphoria, where it's pretty costly, where we want to pay per view basis kind of. So we want to come up with a more affordable AI engine. And we just spent around 2 years in developing our own AI engine. We invested our own money. And literally, so we want to pivot, right? So since most of the top giants, they're investing on AR. So they just started with a lot of other improvements in AR. It needs a lot of other capital. So we pivoted, and we are coming with a lot of other products. And that's how, so the single video, whatever I just seen in 2015, have inspired me to start Focuz AI.
Oh, that's great. I remember seeing a couple of Google video. I don't know whether that was the same one where you could point it to a particular sign, or maybe a road sign, or maybe a hoarding, and you click on it, and it will give you an option of the translation in the language.
Absolutely.
Great.
Not only the text based translation, it's a visual translation.
Oh.
The language, whatever the language, if it is a welcome in English, so literally it will look like, once you see from the camera, it will look like in Hindi. It will give the letter will be replaced with Hindi script.
Oh, nice.
Got it. Visually, it will translate the actual language.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing what a single video or a single, moment of inspiration can, kickstart, right?
Absolutely. That's what I used to share a lot of other inspiring the mixed reality, VR, AR related the information through my LinkedIn. So literally, somehow we should inspire other people, right? So some might get inspired and they can come up with some innovative idea which might address some very value added product.
Great, great. So I remember seeing one of the things which on LinkedIn, when I was scrolling through, I saw one of your videos where you could point to a particular machinery and it would tell you a certain details. Actually, I saw that video and I just shared it with Divyesh, and we discussed like, we need to talk to Arun to see what can be done. And if that's the simplest thing, he could show us. If we move it to a much more technical arena, like a manufacturing area or something, what else can be done? So that's one use case we definitely know. What are the other thing you are working on as products or maybe a use cases?
Okay. So as I told earlier, we just started up with our own AR engine, and we came with earlier we are just supporting real estate industry on developing the VR based experience for their own property. So we found some gap over there where we're not actually adding value. Even at the time, there are a lot of other limitations with your hardware. So literally, we want to provide some seamless experience to the real estate buyer. So we came with our own booking engine. So literally, we want to provide some web experience for the real estate buyer, even how well it can add as a sales pitch for the real estate seller as well. So it will be with visuals, with virtual tour. If you touch any one of the floor, it shows the actual floor plate. It shows the actual inventory of the property. Right, it's completely interactive. If you touch any one of the unit, it gives a specification. What about BHK? What's the overall the size and what's the direction? It's a completely
like a virtual tour.
Not only a virtual tour, it's a combination of inventory management. It's a visual the engagement tool for the real estate customers. So that's a web experience, and ultimately, so we want to provide the VR experience as well. So nowadays, the customer, they are just looking out for the information in their home, right? So after COVID, so everything is happening in their home, in our palm itself, right? So however, my vision is, however, the real estate, the developers, they can go to the customer house and with the tab as well as the VR headset, so that they can teleport the family members to the actual property without traveling. So that's our idea. So how well we can interconnect all those inventory, interconnect all those whatever the content already developed with the VR experience, so that the experience can be seamless. So that's one of our solution for real estate the industry. And currently, recently, we released a product called Access.ai. So mainly for manufacturing company, and slowly we want to scale up the same product to healthcare, defense, a lot of other vertical. So we want to reimagine productivity through XR, AI, and IoT. So as well as enterprise metaverse, it's an add-on. So where we can address a lot of other challenges, right? So we're starting with since we are into IT, so we have a lot of other products to improve our productivity, right? So if it is IT, Slack stands first, right? For the remote collaboration. What about the industries like manufacturing? What about for field workers? What about for deskless workers? There is no tool, right? Right now, there is no tool. So we want to address, we want to capture the market share over there, where we can provide some value added thing through remote collaboration, remote assistance, as well as remote monitoring. So if you talk about the field workers, they spend nearly 70% of the time traveling to the customer premises to solve the particular issue. Right? How well I can help them in reducing the travel time, so where they can collaborate with the customer or as the fresher field technician to solve one of the issue. So that's all about Access.ai, and we are scaling right now, Deepak.
I like that analogy, Slack for the manufacturing. Evan, it like you rightly said, Evan, we, as an IT folks or, in marketing or people who have access to the tech, there are so many tools we can use. You have Slack, you have Skype, you have Zoom, you have productivity tools, you have scheduling tools. But
Right.
what about people who are on the field, or in the manufacturing factory, where the situations, or the area is very hazardous. One single mistake, and it causes safe. It's not safe, for it's dangerous. So if there's a way where you could actually collaborate without actually compromising a lot of the safety instructions, it would be, I mean, amazing.
Absolutely. So even probably in a year and after 2040, you can imagine that probably we might be having some digital the manufacturing facility in Mars, right? So only the facility will be in Mars, and overall the workforce will be sitting in Earth, and from here they'll be doing all sort of work. You can imagine about the automation. You can imagine about the collaboration. We'll be having the digital replica in Earth, and then we can. Even the worker, they might be the few worker. They might be from India, China, and US, remotely placed, but collaborating in the actual virtual space in Mars.
Something
So
which
that's
we
where
should.
the world is going on. Literally, you can literally by 2040, you can, of course, it's feasible.
Nice. It's something you should be talking to Elon Musk. He would be really kicked about all those things.
Yeah, that's what he is investing, right? He is just coming with the AI bot, human-like AI robots, right?
Yeah.
To automate all the work over there in Mars. So that's a small step to the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Arun. I mean, this is really new. I mean, when it comes to the sales and marketing folks, it's always the front end. What happens in this non-glamorous part of the industry is, it's exciting, but it lacks that glamour. It lacks that showbiz, so you don't really get to be talking about. And recently, we were discussing with Divyesh when we started reading about manufacturing, because a lot of our customers actually are manufacturers and are part of the supply chain. And we came across a few terms which you mentioned, couple of things like industry 2.0, 2.3, and when we started reaching out to you, industry 4.0, that was completely new to us. And we are like, what is this? We know web 1.0, we know web 2.0, and now we are talking about web 3.0. What is industry 4.0 that we kept talking about? Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I just explained with a few examples, Deepak. So industry 1.0 is ultimately, it's during 18th century where we came with mechanizing the complete, whatever the product we are just doing at the time. So we can imagine about steam engine. So steam engine is an example. Literally, it's the example for industry 1.0 where everything is mechanized. And during 19th century, where once after the invention of electric current, so we started inventing the conveyor belts to automate the overall process. So how well we can bring within the manufacturing facility, how well we can speed up the overall manufacturing process by using conveyor belt. So that's by using electric current, it's possible for them to speed up the overall the product to the market. And the industry 3.0 is all about the automation by using IT and with electronics. It's something like a networked production. So within the same facility, how well we can use robots as well as the computers to automate the process, which will be completely networked production. And industry 4.0 is all about something intelligent distributed production. How well we can use the technology like IoT, cloud, 5G, blockchain, XR. It's all part of industry 4.0. So everything will be automated. Even the worker and the machines will be connected through the cloud, and literally we can automate the complete process. So this is all about industry 4.0, Deepak.
So, could you give me an example of how a couple of these techs, which are are going to cause or are contributing to the whole industry 4.0 revolution? How would it work? Maybe an example of any of the manufacturing maybe use case. Could you just help me understand that better?
Even recently we went to one of the chicken farm which is situated in Namakkal, Tamil Nadu, right? They have a lot of other fatality ratio. On day-to-day basis, there's a lot of other fatality of chicken right? So because of temperature, rise in temperature, because of very less humidity. So how well we can assist the overall? They have around very huge facility. I think they are producing around 50,000 eggs per day, right? So they have some lot of other the fatality of chicken over there. So we address the same through IoT, where we just given our access.ai app application. We integrated with the IoT device, where the IoT device will detect the overall spike in the temperature. It will give the alert if something goes wrong with the humidity to the actual worker over there. Even we just given the display to reduce the overall fatality. Right. So even the worker, the owner over there from any part of the world, they can monitor what's going on in the actual facility through the mobile app. He can give the overall, he can analyze the overall data for the last the couple of months. What are the things what went wrong, and based on that, it's all about data, right? So once you get the complete data, we can literally contain the entire facility with the data to take the decision accordingly. So this is one of the examples for just a normal chicken the farm. Even nowadays, most of the companies, the starting with the bigger companies, they already implemented the IoT related stuff, but still there are a lot of other gap between the implementation. Say they would have implemented IoT separately, they would have gone with a lot of other the safety related the implementation separately. How well we can combine all of those things by using XR. So XR will play as a visualization tool, right? So once you enter to the particular manufacturing facility, imagine I'm just joined on the first day to the overall the factory over there. How well the XR can guide me to know about my job, right? So we implemented one of the use case for the Nokia. So where we came with the projector-based guidance system. So literally before going to the actual shop floor, so we want to speed up the overall training time by using the projector-based the guidance system. So the projector will be placed on the top with the camera and other sensors. So literally they'll be doing the actual, as per the training, they'll be doing the actual assembling process. And at the same time, the projector will throw the overall guidance instruction on the table. So that based on the overall instruction, they should follow the overall assembling the process. If something goes wrong, it will give the alert immediately.
Okay, so while doing it would actually tell you that this is what needs to be done, and
Absolutely.
the moment you make any error, it would just alert you.
Absolutely. So it's providing the complete data analytics so that where we can give the particular scope to the particular worker, and if overall the overall percentage is very less, we can ask them to repeat the process so that he will be more confident in doing the actual work in the shop floor. So literally we are automating the overall training process, right? You don't want any separate team to monitor them. You don't want any training team to come up with mass training. So since everything is automated, it's a one-time process. Once it is implemented, so they can repeat the process, so they can repeat the complete training until they are pretty much confident on doing the complete the assembling process.
Hearing your use case now, one very basic idea came to my mind. This industry 4.0 is basically decentralizing the power of technology and bringing it to the smallest of businesses. Like people like you, are bringing the technology to the smallest of businesses, because there is a huge bias in the market that if it is a new technology, it should be very costly, and it is limited to very few of the businesses, like a high, like what we mean is a high power businesses. So
That's
this is
a
basically the
myth.
trend that is exactly.
Yeah, that's a myth. So most of them, if you talk about the term like Industry 4.0, digital transformation, AR, VR, it's literally new to them, right? They will think that it's pretty costly, so it's not possible to implement the overall those technology. So that's where we are just playing a role in giving some more awareness about the technology, how affordable it is. Even I'm just talking about the access.ai, right? It's a SaaS product. We have the free forever features where literally you can go with the remote assistance. You can use the remote assistance feature for free. At the same time, if you're going to add if you want to go to the next level, it's just 1,000 rupees per user. 1,000 rupees per user per month. So literally affordable, right? So not only the top the companies, even the small businesses with 10 numbers employees, they can use it.
Right. That's just 10,000 per month.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So such a way, a lot of other SaaS is playing a major role in reducing the overall cost to the company, Divyesh. So it's all about the myth. So where so they should be keen on getting to know about the overall use case. What are the technology they're just going to use, right? So they should be more interested in knowing about the technology and how well the technology can help them in the actual problem. Right. So they should get into those analysis and then they should take the decision. It's literally affordable. It's not very pretty costly when compared to a lot of other things earlier.
Right. So this is interesting. And so when you were implementing this for Nokia, were there any challenges while trying this? Maybe data collection or identifying the process, because each company would have their own set of processes or maybe their own set of technologies or the enterprise systems. So were there any challenges that you faced? And
Not with Nokia. So I think if you know the top the Fortune companies, they have their own vision. They have the separate team to come up with the innovations. They have the certain policy and systems to adapt to the change in the change in environment. How well they can use the technology to transform the industry. Right? This is all over the top 5 and top 10%. So remaining 90% of the industries where the major challenge. If you talk about the major challenges for them is fear of failure, right? It's all about the people, right? The people who are there, so they are not adapted to change.
Right.
Most of the if you talk about most of the manufacturing facilities around the globe, so you can see nearly around 50% of the workforce who are more than 50 plus, right? Who are not willing to change.
Yeah.
That's a major challenge for implementing these kind of digital transformation across the industry. At the same time, disconnection between the departments. So that the innovation team, they can come up with some solution to implement across the shop floor, but ultimately they should coordinate with other department members to get the things done, right? So there are a lot of disconnection between the department, which is a major challenges for the industry to adapt. So if you talk about the remaining 80 to 90% of the industries, it's more about the people. So it's if we have some fantastic the like-minded people around the company, anything is possible. And once it should come from the top to bottom.
Agreed.
So that's my perspective.
No, you're right. What we have seen in even for us, even for us when we deploy anything new, even if it's a new e-commerce store for a business, getting the folks, especially the sales and marketing guys, to use it, embody it, or make it part of their whole sales and marketing process is a challenge, because without that, any tool is pointless if you don't make it part of your process. It'll help you, enable you, or optimize you to do more. It will either save time for you or save costs for you and help you do more. But if you don't use it, doesn't matter the best tech, it won't work for you, right?
Absolutely. That's where so you want to ultimate thing is you want to find the right people, right? First thing is you want to find the right people, small team, just implement within the small team, analyze, gather those data, just check whether these particular changes giving some lot of other impact for your the small team. Once it satisfies the overall thing, then you want to scale it to the whole lot of other team members. That's a way of implementing any change in the company, Deepak. So you want to start with a small team, analyze, go with the pilots, 100%. You want to try at least 10 kind of ways. Only 1 or 2 will get through, right? So you want to, further you want to innovate, further you want to try first.
Yes.
Right. That's the thing.
And what about, so see, the people, the culture is definitely one thing in terms of coordination, in terms of getting them to think in the way they should. What about the system processors, if you are deploying a system like this, which is heavily dependent on data, was collecting data or getting the right data a challenge?
Of course, we have a lot of other tool, the analytical tool right now. It's all about data analytics and data science nowadays, right? So if you are just collecting a lot of other data, then ultimately the concerned team members, they should sit together. They should analyze the data first, and based on that we want to take the decision. So it's end of the day. Once if it's getting very good data, it's a very good sign. So you should spend some time in analyzing overall data to take some the correct decision, Deepak. That's a way of doing it.
And I believe the correct data would be the most crucial thing for implementing any of these solutions, right?
Right.
Because if the right process, if I consider the same example, training, if you have the right processes in place which are actually followed on the shop floor, it is easier to implement that training. If
Absolutely.
not, it just goes for a toss.
Absolutely. So I'm just talking about the projector-based guidance system, right? So literally, we'll be getting the complete the analytics, how long the worker is doing the particular assembling the process, what's the time taken, what's the overall ideal time. So how many errors the alerts are given for the particular worker. So we are just gathering all those data, right? So earlier we'll be comparing the overall system with the earlier process. What's the overall earlier process before implementing this particular change? What's the time taken to train the particular employee? So we'll be gathering all those the data, collecting all those information from the worker, from the previous and the current the workers who are just undergoing the change. We will compare, we will analyze, and based on that, we will implement in the large scale.
Nice. That's an interesting thing. So in terms of Nokia, what change did you see? I mean, how much was there a reduction in time, or was there an improvement in the efficiency? Was there a way to measure that by chance?
Yeah, we predicted while analyzing the overall data, it's around 30 to 35% increasing reduction in training time actually. Oh. And even the confidence level of improved drastically for the worker. Since everything is guided through the guidance system, so overall confidence level is nearly 100% more for the worker to perform well in the shop floor. Since the overall system is giving a lot of other alerts, it's providing the guidance, they are pretty much confident in repeating the same process without any guidance in the shop floor. Oh, okay. So these are the measurement metrics. So 35%, nearly around 35% in reduction in training time. It gives a lot of other the profit and the productivity improvement for the company.
Yeah, that's huge. 35%. I mean, if people are happy, even if they could, generate even 10% of difference in any process they are looking for, but 35%.
A lot of other indirect benefit as well, Deepak, right? So there are a lot of other team who are just involving on training the particular team. So once it is automated, you can imagine about the overall cost involved by deploying those training team, and at the same time, how well we are placing the same team members in the actual shop floor. It's a lot of time is wasted for them, right? So how well they can use the same time in a lot of other productive tasks.
Right. So even if I consider, let's say 100 days would have been the average training time taken for one individual, by a reduction of 35% is like 65 days. That's like 1/3. I mean, right. you can do a lot more. You can use them in different processes, different units. Maybe train them for better to do some better, higher quality tasks and other things. I mean,
absolutely,
that's amazing. I mean. So, what's the awareness level like in terms of in the companies when you reach out to them, especially with all those new age solutions? I mean, I'm sure it would vary across different locations, different countries, maybe even different industries for that matter. So what has experience be like in terms of this?
Yeah, well, so we used to go meet a lot of other customers globally, right? So ultimately, overall, the awareness about the technology is very less. So that's where, so initially, before going with any other meetings, so we used to provide some complimentary the awareness session about about the digital transformation. What are the various digital transformation things happening around the industry? We used to provide some lot of other. The details about the value-added things, the case study, and we'll be giving a lot of other specific information for the particular the enterprise. So we are creating awareness. So before discussing with any other challenges, we want to create the awareness about the technology first, and then based on their own the specific use case, we will be used to provide the solution. And it depends vary, right? Not only on XR, AR, and VR. We used to provide a lot of other solution through AI, computer vision. Video analytics is playing a very key role in the manufacturing industry right now. So even we just completed around dozen of the video analytics based implementation. So video analytics in the sense, so some might be missing the screw in between the manufacturing process, which is ultimately impacting the actual final product. So however, we can use the video analytics to trigger the alarm for the worker in the actual shop floor.
Okay.
So
how does that work?
Pardon?
How does that video analytics identify the missing screw?
We use the AI camera, right? The AI camera will analyze the overall. So it's all about machine learning. So we used to train the overall the things that the model over there. So it knows the overall process. So if it is around 12, if we want to screw around 12 volt, so we'll be training in such a way that it will analyze all those 12 the overall the key components. If something is missed, it will give the alert immediately. It's all about the computer vision.
Oh, so it's live recording everything.
Yes.
The factory.
Like CCTV camera, we'll be having a static camera over there in the actual station, and the camera will analyze the overall process which is going around the particular station. If something is goes wrong or something is missed, it will give you the alert immediately. So we call this as a video analytics.
So, like how you are able to train that AI camera? Like there should be some data that should be feeded into that AI machine learning programs, right? So how much time does it take? What kind of processes that are going on in the background? So which can give us like this kind of amazing results?
It depends upon the actual. It will vary from case to case, Divyesh. Right, some might be. It all depends upon the actual environment, where we are going to keep the camera, what are the lighting, how visible it is, right? So based on that, we'll be getting the key data from the actual thing, and then we will shoot the video. We'll get to know about the overall process, what are the various process, how long it is taking, and what's the view from the camera, and what are the various steps they are repeating the overall process. And ultimately, our AI team, they'll be taking care of the complete training the process through image processing. They will use a lot of other technique to train the actual model.
Mm-hmm. I guess one of the real-time application of this specific user case, I guess I saw some of the video of BMW manufacturing. So they have already implemented this such kind of technology where they are identifying manufacturing defects through AI vision.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an interesting use case. Evan, so from what I can guess, it's a combination of tech plus some amount of manual or human intervention as well, right, Arun?
Yeah, come again.
So this won't be completely a tech or a computer vision process. There would be some amount which is driven by the tech, and some of it would be some or the other human intervention.
Yes, the initial stage, ultimately, it will take some time to train the overall model, right? It will take a couple of iterations. We use analyze the overall implementation. We want to see the overall lot of other the challenges during the process. So where we are just the overall thing is missing, right? So based on that, we'll be traveling around for a month or two, depends upon the use case, and then we'll be addressing those challenges initially. Once it is done, then ultimately there is no other the manual intervention will be there. Deepak. Everything will be automated.
Got it. So, you actually answered one of the things that just came to my mind is, so typically how much time does it take to deploy this? And, one of the questions which I'm sure you would come across is, when do you start seeing the ROI on these solutions? The favorite questions of businesses.
Mm-hmm. That's what. ROI in the sense, probably for a few cases, you may see the ROI within a month, right? For a few cases where it will take around 1 year. For a few cases where in a single day they will take the overall return of investment. In a single
day.
Yes, of course.
Nice.
So one of the example is we have done one of the implementation for Ashok Leyland, right? So they are the manufacturer of truck. In one of the scenario, right? So the cabin will be there. It's in the assembling line. The cabin will be going on, and they want to screw the overall cabin to the actual the overall plate, the plate in the sense the back of the truck, right? So they'll be doing a lot of other screwing stuff and a lot of other things, right? If something goes wrong, even one single bolt is missed, it triggered a lot of other accident. Even one of the person died over there. I don't know. I know it's accident. I don't know. The person have died over there. So we went and we just given the solution. How well we can go with the Wi-Fi range and how well we can use the video analytics and a lot of other IoT sensors to solve the particular the issue. Because since everything is manual, the few times where they will forget to carry on the one of the particular a small component, screwing one of the component, they used to, since they are repeating the overall process, there's a chance of forgetting the simple step. So because of that, the accident is happening over there. With this implementation, of course, within a single day, there's a return of investment, right? We are saving life. We are saving
nice.
a lot of other things, right? So this is a simple example where everything is possible. It all depends upon the use case.
Yeah, I believe safety, industrial safety would be a huge, you may say, sphere where this has immense applications. You just gave an example, and the other example, I remember reading this somewhere where the computer vision piece, which you just described, would, identify fires or electrical sparks well in advance to trigger those alarms, rather than somebody else, smelling it or seeing it or noticing it. The camera would notice it before everybody else, and then just trigger the alarm. So
right. Yeah, of course. There are a lot of other the camera, the AI cameras coming up. Even we recently bought one of the camera from OpenCV. Right, that's a excellent the AI camera where we can analyze this kind of information. By seeing the smoke, we can identify it. So when it's going to fire, probably going to trigger the alarm over there. And these are the very simple use case. And since you are just talking about the safety related the activities, even the VR is playing a major role in training safety related training, Deepak. So I think so, since we are talking about more of the manufacturing and a lot of other the industries, safety is a number one thing they will follow. So there are a lot of other accidents which might be happening within the facility. So how well? So it's an accident, right? In real time, you cannot create the accident, right? So how well we can simulate the same through virtual reality? How well we can give the experience from the first person view? How we can analyze from the third person view? And say we implemented the same. We implemented a lot of other safety related training program, and for L&T solar and transmission line and a lot of other cases. And it's all about simulating. And so once you see the accident from the first person, literally you won't repeat the mistake, right? In real time, once if you're just going to do some other the active unsafe activity, right? We can duplicate the same through VR so that they can get to know about the overall costs. What are the checklists before starting the process? What are the checklists they should follow? So VR add great value in safety related training activities.
I believe they would have those VR headsets to,
Absolutely, yeah. Nowadays, that's what we are working out on enterprise metaverse. So literally, we want to come up with the digital twin of the entire factory. So we will, with the combination of AI, IoT, and a lot of other the data, right? So we want to give the complete the immersive experience for the whole enterprise, starting with the collaboration, right? I'll be having the digital twin. Right, so for literally from here, I can go and see the actual facility, what is going on in London. If I want to know about the actual health of the particular asset, particular mission, once I click on the information icon over there, it'll give you the actual health, what's the temperature, what's the reason, the productivity of the particular mission, what's the maintenance activity. In real time, I can see the actual worker going around the facility.
So we'll actually save a lot of time rather than asking somebody or getting the information from multiple sources.
Actually, I don't want to travel to London to take a decision, right? Small decision, right? How well I can be in the digital twin, speaking with the co-worker who is in London, and then the worker from Delhi, how well they can remotely collaborate and then take decisions.
Nice. That seems really interesting.
Even for training. So since that's what I'm talking about access.ai, right? So our ultimate vision is it should act as a Google lens for the particular organization. It should know anything within the organization. If you go and touch one of the machinery from the maintenance activity, from the overall, what are the top 10 troubleshooting issues, it will give the complete entire the information. The information might be a video, it might be a PDF, it might be a VR-based learning content. So that's our vision. So access.ai, it's something like a Google lens for the manufacturing facility. So that's our initial step in coming up with a very scalable product right now.
So you point at a machinery, you get to know its specs. You point at a machinery, you get to know whether it needs any sort of servicing or any sort of fixing. You point at a machinery, it will tell you what kind of maintenance and skills you need to do to ensure that it needs how to service it, for example. So it's on the job training in another.
Even we integrated one of the things called autonomous task assignment. Since we already implemented the IoT device for the particular machinery, if something goes wrong, it will automatically assign the task to the worker, to the concerned maintenance worker. In the same application, so the alert will be triggered at the same time. The task will be assigned to the particular maintenance worker to carry on to sort out the particular issue.
Oh, nice! Instant fix.
At the same time, we can score based on the number of tasks completed. We will score the worker.
Oh, instant fix as well as instant assessment evaluation as well.
Basically, it will transform entire customer experience. They will be saved from the shopping accidents. Like basically, with implementation of VR, they can literally see themselves wearing the clothes. Suppose one of the example for the apparel industry, and they can find out what fashion they want to wear, what size they want to wear, if it is fitting their virtual version or not. So they will be saved from the virtual shopping accidents, what we can call, from the manufacturing to apparel industry. It is applicable everywhere.
Yes, of course. Starting with the customer engagement, starting with the customer experience, we can use the AR VR is playing a major role in for the customer experience. As I told earlier, I'm just talking about our real estate product, right? It's all about how well we can improve the customer experience for the buyer, how well we can engage them. So that by engaging, how well I can collect the data, what's the engagement with the particular property, what's their overall interest with particular unit. So in the back end, we will collect all those data and we will assist the salesperson to guide the real estate buyer. So we'll trigger an alert. So and so, this is the hot lead. So this particular user is engaging with the property for more than so and so hours, so and so minutes. Just give some attention to the particular customer, so that the salesperson they can give a call to the particular buyer, and then you can give more information about the property. Same applies for the retail industry. Any product, right? So even in XSS, in one of the feature is remote demonstration for you can imagine for Chroma, right? During COVID, ultimately we are sitting in home, right? However, through a video-based AR call, I can bring the refrigerator to the customer premises. I can see in real life, real size of the refrigerator, and then I can see whether the size suits in my kitchen. Is there any clash with the real world object? Directly from remotely sitting in Chroma retail store as a salesperson, I can trigger a SMS to the customer, and then I can show the complete virtual product in their home itself.
Awesome. So there is no limit to what we can do with personalization.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about the customer experience, right? You are engaging the customer. You are improving the overall the customer the product experience with the customer. So literally, you are standing out from the crowd. As a retail store, I'm just standing out. I'm from the crowd when there is no other option for virtual demo. So there are technology. It's available right now. So ultimately, it's all about the awareness. Most of them. So that's where we want to come into play. We want to create. We want to do a lot of other marketing. We want to create awareness. So once they know, definitely they will integrate these kind of the innovations in the retail industry.
Yeah, this is interesting. I actually want to buy a fridge in a couple of weeks, but I'm just too lazy to go to any of those shops and spend hours. I don't want to spend my weekend like
nowadays. All are lazy. All are lazy. Since everything is we are just keep on browsing everything in our smartphone, right? So we don't want to go to a lot of other stores. We don't want to go to a lot of other to take a decision. So before, it's of course if you before buying a car or before going to buy a bike, the entire detail more than the salesperson. Am I right?
Agreed.
You would have researched the complete information about the car, about the bike. Before going there, you will ask a lot of other questions to the salesperson who might be looking out for the expert to assist him. Right? So everything is in the palm of the hand. So how well we can improve the overall experience. So so there are a lot of other gap. There are a lot of other opportunity for the technology for the company like us to address. Right? There are a lot of other gaps in the industry, so we can address the same through the technology. Deepak.
So one of the things which now that I'm thinking is how about the industry bodies? Are they encouraging the shift to 4.0, or are there policies, government policies, or maybe industry policies which are enabling this shift, which are in your favor or in the industry's favor? Are there anything happening on those lines?
On the government side, of course, there are a lot of other the announcement from the government on investing on the technology, on investing on a lot of other things. And what I came across is, I think probably the Singapore government, they are giving a lot of other the fund and capital. So something they are just ultimately. So they are asking all the factory, all the facilities, manufacturing facilities to implement this industry 4.0. So they are looking forward. Their own the factories which is in Singapore, they should stand out from the international market. So they are giving fund for any other. If you're just going to implement any other enterprise metaverse, the government, they are funding the overall the facility to probably once it is implemented, they can claim from the government. Right, this kind of encouraging the overall the sector, right? So literally, without any second thought, they will invest their own time. They will go for the trial. They will implement the overall thing, so that they can stand out from the crowd. Likewise, I think if you more than assisting the startup and more than coming with a lot of other activity, if they come up with any other scheme for the industries for implementing such innovation, such technology, they can claim the same, whatever the project cost, they can claim some particular percentage from the government. So it will indirectly, it will benefit the startup. It will indirectly, it will benefit the overall the industry, the bodies over there. Right? They will be keen on they'll be more keen on implementing this kind of technology very early when compared to the current scenario, Deepak. So the government, they should come up with such the schemes and scenarios to encourage the lot of other sectors, not only manufacturing. You can take healthcare, pharma industries. So if they fund the part of the innovations, ultimately it will give a lot of other direct and indirect benefit for the country.
And also, are there any specific industries where you have seen that, where people or, the companies have hugely adopted Industry 4.0? Are there any specific industries that you can point out, or it's more or less same around, in all the industries?
Not 100%, Deepak. Not 100%. I think so. If you talk about India, I can tell you that nearly 70%, 60% of the industries, they are still in 1.0. Industry 1.0, not even 2.0.
No, you shouldn't be laughing. That's really a sad statement.
Right.
But yeah.
Absolutely. So absolutely, they are still in the very traditional way of doing their own work. So we want to create a lot of other awareness, and still there are a lot of gap, literally. So we want to create awareness. Only then we can. Probably I'm just talking about Singapore government, right? So that they have the policy that so and so they should follow Industry 4.0 standards across the sector. That's a policy for them, right? Ultimately,
it's mandatory.
If you talk about India, they would ultimately the question will stop over there about the funding. So that's what they are doing. So we will fund. Just implement these kind of solutions. Go transform your own industry by using technology. So they are announcing the policy, at the same time they are funding for the overall implementation as well. Such a way, if happens in India and a lot of other countries, ultimately we can see some 100% implemented Industry 4.0 thing. So even we are in the middle of the stage, Deepak. Only nowadays the infrastructure is booming up, right? So 5G, we are seeing a lot of other the improvements in cloud and 5G, and a lot of other infrastructure-based improvement is coming up. Even if you talk about AR and VR, we have a limitation with the hardware. We don't have the very seamless hardware right now. I think it will take a couple of years, probably 3 or 4 years, to come up with excellent something like. So we would have known about iPhone moment, right? Such a way we are looking forward for the next iPhone moment. Of course, it will be from Apple again, right? By next year they are announcing they are releasing their own mixed reality glasses. Once they release the mixed reality glasses, we can see a lot of other transformation going across the industry. I think we would have seen about a lot of what's happened with the smartphone for the last 15 years, right? So we can see the same transformation going across industry faster than smartphone.
Nice. So did COVID, the pandemic, help in any case to boost this growth or demand? Did it help, or
ultimately, if you're not adapting to this particular digital transformation, whoever the industry, they will get vanished from the crowd. If you want to be more competitive in the markets, ultimately we should stand out, right? So even the client nowadays, they are just looking for the overall infra. So what's the overall the transformation happening within the organization before going with any other project, right? Because they are giving the timeline, right? At the same time, the client, they want to make sure that the product will be delivered on time. So for that, what are the solutions? What are the technology improvements they are already implemented in their own the company? They're going for the audit. So every industry, they are in the pressure. They are to be more competitive in the market. They are already the top fortune companies. They are already implementing, and literally we can see a lot of other transformation across medium and bottom layered company as well. Deepak. Even pharma industry, they are running against time, right? During COVID, they are in pressure of delivering the product on time, right? How well they can use these kind of robotics, AI, right, IoT, and all, how to speed up the overall product to the market. So these things will push the industry forward so that they can adapt to the technology.
Great. Once, and like you rightly said, once their customers start demanding that, we want that assurity, we want those audit, we would like to have an audit of your overall facility or your setup, and we want to see that, you can cater to us even during, for the next year or for the next couple of years. This would actually put a lot of pressure for them to ensure that we need to have this setup in place.
Absolutely.
It
To
becomes more
implement
of a
that, they
business
should
requirement.
start the process before itself, right? Not only for this kind of use cases, they should start experimenting, right? So they should be without any fear of failure. They should come up with a lot of other the campaign where they can implement the innovations. They can check out the overall the transformation by using the data. They can choose the right use case and then they can implement it. It's all about how well they all the departments they can coordinate and then come with the better solution.
Great. I that was super helpful, Arun. I mean, any specific one of your, let's say, your favorite implementation which you did for anything, and that has been your most close to what you always wanted to do with this tech, and any specific implementation that you would you could tell us about.
So right now we are doing our dream thing right now. I'm just talking about the enterprise metaverse, right? So we are creating in the complete digital twin. So within the digital twin, where the worker they can collaborate in the virtual factory, right? So we have incorporated, integrated the IoT for each and every machinery. So within the virtual environment, I can get to know about the actual machinery. So we are introducing a band, watch kind of band. Once I wear the watch kind of band, I can know how many workers there are in the particular shop floor.
Okay.
Literally, I can see them walking around the virtual environment, walking around the virtual factory. But real time, they'll be walking in the actual factory. I can replicate the worker in the virtual digital factory here. So that's our dream project where we are implementing right now. So once it is done, I think it will give some lot of other value-added thing for the companies. It's come with a lot of other meeting. We'll be having this conference room, right? So you can take decision from wherever. By sitting in home, I can be in the factory. I can analyze the overall data. I can coordinate with my coworker over there. I can, if you want to training, if you want to learn about the particular missions, if you want to know about the various safety aspects, if you want to know about the top 10 troubleshooting of the particular mission, everything is integrated within the enterprise metaverse.
Nice.
So that's our dream solution, which we are developing right now, Deepak.
Yeah, once it is ready, we'll have a chat about that as well.
Sure.
Great.
Like to sum it up the entire conversation. Like there are challenges, but that's why there are so many opportunities.
Yes,
So
of
like
course. There are a lot of gap in the industry. There are a lot of other opportunities. It's all about the right people, like-minded people who can take the decision to implement the process so that it should be beneficial. At the end of the day, it should be beneficial. You should focus on the right the challenges. You should come up with the right solution.
Okay.
Awesome.
So like, thank you so much, Arun, for sharing your knowledge around this digital tech world and how they can shape the future businesses. I feel there is so much more to discuss, but I guess we should keep something for the next time as well.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure meeting you, Divyesh and Deepak. I think we hope we had a great time speaking about a lot of other the things, technology and solutions.
Yes, Arun. It was great. Really insightful, because like we said, I mean, this part is something you don't really get to explore, and especially you don't get to talk to somebody who has actually done all those things. So
inside the
amazing.
industry.
Yes, thanks, Arun. Thank you very much.
Thank
Sure.
you so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks. Take care. Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
Divyesh.
Bye.